The night was colder than usual when Daniel parked his old car near the forgotten house at the edge of town. He wasn't supposed to be there. Everyone in the village had warned him. They said the house was cursed, that no one stayed inside for more than an hour. But Daniel was curious, and curiosity had always been his weakness. The house stood silent, half-broken, swallowed by vines. Its windows were black and empty, like watching eyes. The wooden gate hung loose, creaking when the wind touched it. There were no lights nearby, no other houses, only this one, standing in the middle of wild grass, waiting. Daniel told himself it was just a story. Old houses made noises, shadows looked strange at night, and people loved to scare each other with tales. Still, as he walked up the path, his stomach tightened. He pushed the door open. It groaned loudly, the sound echoing into the darkness inside. Dust filled his throat. The air smelled of damp wood and something faintly metallic, like rust. Daniel switched on his flashlight. The beam revealed a narrow hallway, wallpaper peeling like dead skin. A picture frame lay shattered on the floor. The glass crunched under his shoe. For a moment, he thought he heard movement upstairs. Just a shuffle, soft and dragging, like a slippered foot sliding across wood. He froze. The house was supposed to be empty. Probably a rat, he whispered, though his voice cracked. He forced himself forward. The living room was wide, but cold. The furniture was still there, draped in white sheets covered in dust. A fireplace, long dead, yawned open. Cobwebs glittered in the flashlight's glow. On the mantel sat a single object, an old porcelain doll. Its eyes reflected the beam in an unnatural way, almost as if it were alive. Daniel stared at it for too long, until he felt foolish and turned away. Then the sound came again. This time, from upstairs. Clearer. A slow, dragging step. Then another. His flashlight trembled in his hand. The staircase rose into shadows, broken in places. Daniel knew he shouldn't go up, but his body moved anyway as if pulled. Each step groaned under his weight. Dust floated like ash in the beam. The air grew heavier, colder. Halfway up he stopped. Something whispered. Not a clear word, not even a voice, just the faint hiss of breath brushing against his ear. Daniel spun around. Nothing was there, only darkness pressing close. At the top, the corridor stretched long and narrow. Doors lined each side, all shut tight. The wallpaper here was darker, stained with patches that looked too much like old blood. He tried the first door. Locked. The second. Locked. At the third, the handle turned easily. He pushed it open. It was a child's room. The wallpaper had once been bright with cartoon animals, but now it was faded and torn. A small bed sat in the corner, the blanket rotted and eaten by moths. Toys lay scattered across the floor. Daniel's light passed over them, then stopped. One toy, a small wooden horse, was rocking, slowly back and forth. He hadn't touched it. His breath caught. He stepped closer, shining the beam directly on it. The rocking slowed, then stopped, as if whatever had pushed it was gone. Behind him, the door creaked shut. Daniel spun and grabbed the handle. It wouldn't move, locked from the outside. "Hello!" His voice shook. "Who's there?" No answer, only silence. Then the rocking started again, faster this time. The horse's wooden legs tapped the floor like a heartbeat. Daniel's chest tightened. He pounded on the door, shouting, but the sound was swallowed by the house. The rocking grew frantic. Then it stopped. The room was too quiet. From the bed came a soft sound. A cough. Daniel froze. His light trembled toward the bed. Something was under the blanket. A shape, small, child-sized. The blanket shifted. Slowly, it began to rise, as though someone beneath it were sitting up. Daniel stumbled backward, his hand fumbling for the door. Then a voice whispered, high and broken, "Why did you come?" Daniel's heart pounded so loud he thought it would break his ribs. The shape under the blanket moved, twisting unnaturally, as if bones bent the wrong way. He slammed his shoulder against the door. Once, twice. On the third strike, the wood splintered. He burst into the corridor, gasping, running without thinking. Behind him, the whisper followed. Closer. Louder. Not one voice, but many, all overlapping. Why did you come? Why did you come? The walls seemed to close in, the floor groaning beneath his weight. He turned into the last door at the corridor's end. It flew open and he stumbled inside. It was the master bedroom. A large bed sat in the middle, sheets black with rot. A wardrobe leaned against the wall. In the center of the bed lay another doll, identical to the one downstairs. His glass eyes shone in the beam. Daniel backed away. His foot caught on something soft. He looked down. A shoe. It was fresh, clean, not covered in dust like everything else. It was his shoe, but he was still wearing both. The whispers filled the room. The doll's mouth seemed to move. The wardrobe door rattled, then slowly creaked open. Inside, darkness yawned deeper than it should have been, as if it stretched into a place not part of the house. From that blackness, pale hands reached out. Dozens of them. Small hands, child-sized. They clawed the air, reaching for him. Daniel screamed, dropped his flashlight, and ran. The corridor twisted. The stairs were gone. The hallway stretched longer, doors multiplying endlessly, each one whispering, each one locked. He ran, but the floorboards snapped under his weight, opening into a pit of darkness. As he fell, he heard the voices one last time, whispering in unison, soft and satisfied. You shouldn't have come. Then everything went black. The next morning, Daniel's car was still parked outside the house. The driver's door hung open. The keys dangled from the ignition. But Daniel was gone. And in the living room on the mantel next to the porcelain doll sat another figure. A new doll. Its face was pale, its eyes wide and glassy. It looked just like Daniel. In the heart of a secluded forest stood an old vacation home, its creaking wooden frame whispering tales of solitude. Tonight, it would bear witness to a story that would forever alter the lives of its inhabitants. At the stroke of midnight, a sudden knock echoed through the silent house. Startled, the couple exchanged uneasy glances. Who could be out here at this hour? Opening the door, they were greeted by a young woman. Her presence was unsettling, her request even more so. Is Tamara here? She asked, her voice trembling. Confused and wary, they informed her that no one by that name resided there. With a curt nod, she turned and vanished into the night, leaving behind an unsettling silence. But the night was far from over. Hours later, the same woman returned, her demeanor colder, her presence more menacing. This time, she stood silently, watching them through the window. A chilling realization dawned upon them. They were not alone. The woman was not lost. She was watching them, waiting. Without a word, she turned and disappeared into the night, leaving behind a lingering sense of dread. But the terror had only just begun. The family awoke to the sound of objects crashing. Books tumbled from shelves, chairs toppled, and a cold draft swept through the room. No one entered. No one was seen. Yet, the house seemed alive with unseen hands. In the bedroom, the youngest child screamed. Her bed rocked as if someone invisible pressed down, and toys scattered across the floor. Parents rushed in, heart pounding, but no one was there. Then came the whispers. Soft, unintelligible murmurs echoed through the hallways. At times, it felt as though the walls themselves spoke in riddles. The voice eerily close, yet unseen. Objects moved on their own. A teapot hovered above the counter before clanging to the floor. The family could only watch, frozen in terror, as everyday objects betrayed gravity and reason. Desperate for answers, paranormal investigators arrived. They placed cameras and audio recorders throughout the house, determined to capture the phenomenon on tape. The devices captured unexplainable sounds, knocks, whispers, and the occasional eerie laughter. Yet the instruments revealed nothing visible, nothing to indicate a human presence. Fear gripped the family. The house, once a home, now felt like a trap. Every creak, Every whisper suggested eyes watching them, hands reaching unseen. As night fell again, the shadows grew restless. They stretched unnaturally along the walls, crawling and twisting, forming shapes that made the family shiver. Every step they took was accompanied by whispering echoes from the dark corners of the house. Objects no longer obeyed the laws of nature. Chairs and tables surged across the floors as though propelled by invisible strength. A lamp exploded into glass shards mid-air, leaving the family in petrified silence. Cold air gripped the house like an unseen fist. Rooms once cozy now carried a deadly chill. The mother wrapped herself around her child, trying to block the icy mist that slithered along the walls, seeping into their very bones. On the walls, mysterious messages appeared. Words written in a trembling, childlike hand glowed faintly, warning of danger. Get out, they read, yet no one had touched the wall. And then, it returned. Faceless, tall and silent. It stood at the room's center, radiating a menace that froze the family in place. No words, no movement, yet its presence was suffocating, pressing on their minds. The poltergeist's wrath escalated. Knives levitated, cupboards slammed, and the refrigerator door swung open violently. Every corner of the home became a trap, every object a weapon against the family. Fear turned to desperation. Huddled together, the family whispered prayers and clung to one another, knowing that they were no longer in a house. They were in the grip of something ancient and malevolent. The nights grew unbearable. Screams echoed through the house as the youngest child was thrown across her bed. Shadows writhed along the walls, elongating and twisting into grotesque shapes, making the familiar rooms feel like a prison. Doors opened and closed on their own. Drawers rattled violently, as though invisible hands rummaged through them. The family dared not sleep, fearing the unseen forces might be closer than they imagined. Sudden cold spots chilled the air. One moment, the room was normal. The next, an icy wind swept through, wrapping the children in shivers. It was as if something unseen wanted them awake, watching, vulnerable. Objects didn't just move, they defied gravity. A dining chair lifted into the air, hovering silently before crashing back down. Every family member froze, unsure whether to run or to stay, trapped between disbelief and fear. From the shadows came a child's voice, soft yet chilling. It whispered unintelligible words, repeating them as though trying to communicate a warning or a threat. The girl's eyes filled with tears, yet she could not look away from the invisible presence. The house seemed to revolt against its occupants. Pots flew from cabinets. Utensils spun through the air, and even a kettle hissed, releasing steam in the form of claw-like shapes. Then, for the first time, a figure appeared. Faceless, human in shape but utterly devoid of features. It glided silently across the floor. The family could feel its gaze, though there were no eyes, only a presence that seemed to pierce their very souls. Word of the disturbances spread beyond the family. Experts in the paranormal arrived, determined to uncover the truth behind the escalating horrors. Equipped with technology and skepticism, they stepped into the house, unaware that the forces inside were far beyond anything they had imagined. Cameras were set in every room. Tripods held audio recorders, and EMF meters blinked nervously. The air grew heavy as if the house itself knew it was being observed. Moments later, the cameras captured the unthinkable. A chair glided silently across the floor, and a faint blur, human in shape but faceless, passed behind it. The investigators exchanged uneasy glances. Skepticism was beginning to waver. The audio recordings were even more disturbing. Whispers overlapped screams and laughter, echoing through the house with no identifiable source. Each playback made the hairs on their necks stand on end. Then, it appeared once more. Atop the staircase, faceless and silent. The figure observed the investigators. Its presence was heavy, pressing into their minds, causing a paralyzing fear that words could not describe. Objects became weapons. Knives, mugs, and plates flew through the air, narrowly missing the investigators. Every corner of the home seemed alive, reacting violently to every step they took. The family pleaded for help, their voices trembling. They were at the mercy of a force they could not see but could feel in every creak, every gust of wind, every whisper in the darkness. The investigators realized this was no ordinary haunting. It was something far more sinister. Night fell heavy over the house, thick with tension. Every shadow seemed alive, every creak of the floorboards a warning. The family and investigators braced themselves for what they knew would not be a quiet night. Suddenly, the entity struck. Chairs toppled violently, and picture frames crashed to the floor. The faceless figure emerged from the shadows, moving closer, silent but menacing, radiating a presence that made the air thick and suffocating. Whispers filled the room, incomprehensible yet threatening. The girl's small voice trembled as if repeating the words in her mind, a sinister chant that echoed from nowhere and everywhere at once. Objects no longer obeyed gravity. Knives hovered dangerously close to the investigators. Cups spun mid-air, and plates rotated unnaturally. Every object seemed alive, a weapon guided by the unseen force, and then it came closer. Faceless and towering, the entity glided down the hallway, leaving elongated, shifting shadows in its wake. Every heartbeat in the house seemed to echo in perfect synchrony with its movement. Despite the fear, the family found courage. They stood together, hands clasped, faces pale but resolute. It was their unity, their resolve, that seemed to challenge the faceless presence. For a moment, the entity retreated. Objects fell to the floor, and the oppressive weight lifted slightly. The family breathed, realizing that although the night was far from over, their courage had held the line, if only for now. The final night arrived, heavy with dread. Every creak and whisper seemed magnified, echoing through the home as if the house itself had become alive. The family knew the unseen presence was preparing its last move. Suddenly, darkness swallowed the room, candles extinguished, plunging them into a suffocating blackness. A chilling mist wound around their feet, moving with intent, searching, waiting. From the darkness, it emerged, tall, faceless, and menacing. Its presence was overwhelming, filling every corner, pressing against the mind. The family froze, hearts hammering, realizing they were face to face with the impossible. Objects became weapons once more. Furniture spun wildly, books scattered like leaves, and a teacup hovered dangerously close to a child's face. Panic threatened to consume them, yet they held together, refusing to yield entirely. But courage prevailed. Shoulder to shoulder, the family confronted the entity, holding hands tightly. Their unity, love, and determination radiated a strange warmth, as if the house itself recognized their resolve. The faceless entity recoiled, shivering and dissipating into the shadows. Objects settled, the air lightened, and a tense silence filled the house. It was not gone forever, but for now, it had retreated. Morning brought relief. The first rays of sunlight touched the house, the forest calm once more. Though they were shaken, exhausted, and forever changed, the family survived. They had faced the faceless horror and emerged united, stronger, and alive. If you love watching the video and wanted to see more videos like this, please subscribe, like, and comment for more stories like this. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Leave us a comment for more stories like this. Your support means the world. Stay tuned for more videos.